All right, all right, all right. Yes, the server room, 3 o'clock every Saturday. I'm going to give it a few minutes. It is 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got the mustache nice and curled. I'm just checking out the YouTube channel to make sure it's receiving content healthy. Looks like everything is going well over here. Hoping there's no issues with the feedback. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Feels great to be here with you guys. I'm so happy that we are here. As always, chilling, relaxing, and enjoying ourselves and learning something awesome together. Okay, so it is 3:01 and we're gonna start. We're gonna start right now. So I'm going to just remove the lower third. Get that out of here. Peace out. Awesome. So again, guys, this is your boy Bernardo from the BTNHD, and as always, every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do the server room. Yes. So today is all about web server and Linux. Yes. But before we start, I'm going to a couple announcements. Always got to do a couple announcements. Okay. And as always, I have the notes for this show. The link is at the bottom of the description. You guys can click on it. It is going to be a zip file. Inside the zip file, there's a text file. And within that text file, you're going to see all this good stuff right here. All the notes that we're going to go over. So if you want to follow through, it's real easy. Copy and paste the commands within your terminal and get to go, right? Good to go, I mean. Also, make sure you join the newsletter. The newsletter is not something that I constantly push out to you guys every day for clickbait. You know, it's like, I want you guys to click and view my videos. I try to push it out every Friday to let you guys know what happened during the week, what's going to happen this Saturday on the show. Like this week, I didn't push it out. So it's really rare. I try to push myself to do best practice and push out the newsletter, but it's like a weekly thing. It's not something that I'm going to constantly push out to you guys and it's going to spam you. I want you to click this. I want you to view this for me to give views. It's nothing like that. Also, for my other announcement, I have been showing some love at my twitch.tv channel. I do have a channel. It's mostly gaming. I play games. My favorite game is League of Legends. I've been playing that for a minute. That is the link. If you have a twitch.tv account, go over there, check me out. I try to stream almost every single day. If you're not into gaming and you just want to hang out with me and talk about tech stuff, that is the place to go. Go over there, have a question about what I've pushed out throughout the week, or you have questions with SCCM, MDT stuff like after hours that you can't really grab me. Go over there on Twitch, sign up, free account, follow me. I'd be great. I also partner up with Spreadsheet.com. They hooked me up with a t-shirt shop. As you guys can see, got a shirt on. You would think because I partner up with this company, I would get a great discount, but I don't get a great discount. I get the same discount that you guys get. 15%. If you want to support your favorite tech guy, this guy, get a t-shirt. That'd be awesome. I have a couple of them myself, and this is one of the designs that I did. So that's awesome. So you're probably saying to yourself, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? Okay, so if you are a Windows admin, I'm a Windows admin / Linux / Mac admin, blah, blah, blah. But if you are a full-time 24/7 Windows admin, there's always, it comes to a time that you have to work with another operating system. And you dread that. Why? Because you're so used to using Windows Server, Windows 10, Windows this, Windows that, and then when something's thrown at you in the mix, it kind of messes your workflow. There's always come to a time that you have to touch the Linux platform, the forbidden operating system. I don't really consider it forbidden. It's an awesome, great operating system. One, it's right there in the budget. If you have a tight budget on your IT budget and you need a file system or a file server, or need a print server or a web server, which we're going to take care of today, which we are going to take care today. It's cheap. You got to understand, a lot of these distros or distribution operating systems that are out there, these operating systems are free. So why not take advantage of it? The top two that I like to use, the number one that I like to use for my clients is Ubuntu. And my personal one that I like to use at home with my equipment, with, my laptops, is Linux Mint. I love Linux Mint. I love the way it works. It's very compatible. It's stable. It's a great operating system. But for building file servers, integrating it to your Windows Active Directory, which you can do that. It's a pain in the butt, but you're able to integrate your Linux operating systems to your Active Directory. It's a pain in the butt. Creating file shares, web servers, especially web servers. A lot of the web servers or websites nowadays on the internet, on the World Wide Web, are based on Unix, because the operating system is a small footprint, less resources, and it's just awesome. So today what we are going to do is the following. We are going to create a very basic web server using Linux. I'm going to be using Ubuntu server, which Ubuntu server is not a GUI. This is the best thing about this. When I'm dealing with Linux, I love to use terminal. I love to have that command prompt and type everything in. Sometimes I type everything in within a text file and I copy and paste everything inside the terminal, and it works with no problem, rather than typing it in. Linux platforms come as a desktop experience, just like Windows. Windows come without the desktop, and then it comes with the GUI version. You're able to do everything within a PowerShell command prompt. Okay, I think that's where Windows got that feel. They got it from the Linux platform. So we're going to build a Ubuntu server within VMware, because I want to show you guys the basic steps of how to get it configured. And when you want to get yourself a web server, when you're configuring Ubuntu server, they give you an option to add that feature, which is called LAMP, a LAMP server. Now, LAMP stands for the following: L for Linux, A for Apache, M for MySQL, and P for PHP. Okay, that's one of the best things about Ubuntu server. They give you the option to build a print server, a file server, and other things like LAMP, which I'm going to show you guys. Then I am also going to my Azure portal, and I'm going to create a virtual machine within Azure. The reason why I'm doing both of them like this is because within Azure, they don't really give you an option to pick a role. So you have to go inside within your Azure, go inside that virtual machine, and shoot out the command lines, or the commands, right, within your terminal to install LAMP. So I want to show you guys how that fails. Plus, I'm going to have a public IP address, and you guys could check it out. You could go to the IP address, and I'm going to show you guys what you should do with a public IP address. You would go inside your GoDaddy or whatever. Right now, I'm using my noip.com, which is free. They give you 3 host names, and from here I got these 2 host names, and I'm going to target this host name with the virtual machine public IP address. That means when you type in this right here, it will go into our web server. Okay, but let's go inside here, and I'm going to do the obvious, and let's go to File, New, Virtual Machine. Right, good stuff. That should prompt up this nice little window right here. We're going to create a nice little container. And the basic requirements for Ubuntu server to have a up and running web server, you can have it with 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. Super small container. How awesome is that? So what we're going to do is click on next on that. We are going to call it TSR 016 because that's today's episode number. Episode 16. Holy crap, episode 16. That's like 3 months so far together, like a big family. Awesome. Again, if you have the power to leave an awesome comment, leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing today. Who are you? Say hi, bye. You're doing a bad job. You're doing a great job. Just leave something if you have the power to leave a comment on the chat. Also, don't forget about hitting that like button to show me that you are enjoying the good stuff that we are doing together every Saturday. So this is the name of the virtual machine that we're going to call. This is the name that we're going to call our virtual machine. And we're going to click on next. Awesome. And I'm going to put it inside this resource course Linux. Nothing too special. And I'm going to just drop it inside this container right here. Click next. And it's going to be a Linux operating system. And within the Linux operating system, you got a drop down. And within the drop down, it's pretty cool because VMware kind of supports Ubuntu Linux. And it's going to be a 64-bit operating system because that's what we want to push out. Because with 64-bit, it gives you that extra space to upgrade the memory of, in the future. Click on next. We are going to drop this within our VM network. And we're going to click on next. And 16 gigs is not that bad for a web server, but if you're hosting many sites within your Ubuntu server or your Linux web server, you might have to increase that. I'm just going to go for it and just do 100 gigs just for now. Again, this is very, very basic just to get us up and running. Again, this show is all about those individuals that are Windows admins 24/7, and all of a sudden they have a client that wants, they have a tight budget. They don't have the money to afford to purchase Windows servers or Windows server licenses because, they're pretty expensive. You are able to go to torrent sites and get that, but what happens if the company gets audited? That's problems with them. So the best thing that to do is find an easier, better solution. And why not install Linux? There's so many Linux operating systems in the market now. I mean, holy moly, there's a lot of them, and the majority of them is free. I think the only one that I know off the bat that's not free is Red Hat. That's more of like an enterprise level. But for the ones that I know and that I've used within my 9-to-5 job, Ubuntu. What's the other one? Linux Mint is one. Gentoo is another one. Ooh, Gentoo is really good because I actually built a PDF server out of that. So that's a good operating system. And there's a lot more. I bet you guys already know 1,000 more. If a matter of fact, answer me this. Those individuals that are watching right now, thank you so much again. If you have a favorite Linux distro, leave it in your chat. I want to know what's your favorite distro right now on Linux, on your Linux operating system. Just leave it on the chat, and I'll give you guys a shout out. All right, sorry about that. Just needed to open the door, get some air. It gets hot. All right, so what we're going to do is click finish on that, and our virtual machine should be nice and healthy. Cool. Let's get out of that. And I'm going to right click on this virtual machine, go to edit settings, and let me zoom in for you guys. Right now, the memory is only 1 gig because VMware already says, okay, you're using Ubuntu 64. It only needs 1 gig. I'm going to bump it up to 4 gigs. And for the CPU, I'm just going to give it 2 sockets. 2 sockets. There you go. On the DVD, data store ISO, because I do have the ISO, and it's on the data store E. And we're just going to mount this beautiful Ubuntu server, which I'm actually using 16.04.2 LTS version, which is somewhat the latest version, which is stable. And we're going to click OK on that. Beautiful. Awesome. So we are going to right click on this guy, open up the console, and we're going to power it on. Cool. So once that powers on, awesome, look at that. Beautiful. So the first thing that's going to happen within your Ubuntu server ISO when you boot it up is going to pick your language. I can't speak correctly, but I can't speak English correctly, but that's what I'm going to pick. So let's pick English on that. And again, you got many options. First option that's highlighted is install Ubuntu server. So that's what we're going to pick. I'm gonna hit enter on that. Let me zoom out real. Let me get out of this real quick. I'm gonna zoom out. There you go. Cool. I don't think you guys can see. Let me zoom in again. Apologize for that. There you go. So once you pick your language and you tell it to install Ubuntu, you're gonna get an option to pick your language. By default is English, and you're gonna hit enter. If you're doing it within a virtual machine, you're not going to see a mouse. So keep that in mind. Everything is either the tab key or the directional keys, up and down, left and right. So it's gonna automatically locate so if the virtual machine has internet access, it's going to automatically locate your language or whatever region you're located in, and also your location. For me, is the United States, so I'm going to hit enter on that. And then you have this. You can try to have your keyboard layout detected by pressing several keys. This is right here. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Mac. You know, when you plug in a non-Mac keyboard, it wants you to press like the shift key and press this and that. I'm going to say no for now. And this right here is your keyboard layout version. It is English US, so I'm definitely going to hit enter. And configure the keyboard again. Keyboard layout is English. You can pick whatever you want. Hit enter. Right now, it's going to detect all the hardware, the CD, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do is zoom out, let that load up, and we are going inside our Azure. So within Azure, I already have everything up and running. I already have my network security group. I'm definitely going to have a public IP address created, and I'm going to use the storage account and the network interface. I might change the availability set. I'm going to keep. In the storage account, I'm going to keep, because this is where I could do my log. So if you guys are kind of confused with what the hell I'm talking about with the Microsoft Azure, we have gone through how to create a virtual machine, and we've gone through all the steps of creating a virtual network, creating an NSG, which is a network security group, creating a storage account, creating an availability set, and then creating a virtual machine. I've gone through all this stuff in, like, I forgot what episode. So when you have some downtime, check out that episode, because it's very informative. For now, I'm just going to go inside virtual machine, and within virtual machine, I'm going to click this nice little add button. Awesome. And one of the cool things with Azure is that they have a container for Ubuntu server. So that's pretty cool. They even give you the latest one. They even give you 1704. But I'm going to pick 1604 LTS. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. So I'm actually going to pick this one. So we're going to click on that. It's going to give you a nice little description of what's Ubuntu 1604 LTS. It's going to be 64, which is great, because that's the version that we are deploying locally within our infrastructure. But the only problem is, when you're deploying this Azure virtual machine, it kind of just deploys it for you. It doesn't really give you an option to install, roles and features. And the only reason I'm doing roles and features, because it's the same concept as Windows admins. When we finally install the Windows operating system within a physical server or a virtual machine, and we need to configure it with specific roles and features, we go to manage servers and roles and features, right? So it's the same concept within the Linux platform. So from here, we're going to go all the way to the bottom, and we are going to do is create. So right now it is loading up to create the virtual machine. We need to give it a name. We are going to give this guy TSR 016. You could do a solid state drive. You could do HDD. I'm going to do HDD because with Azure, it costs a lot of money to run a solid state drive virtual machine. Trust me. The name that I'm going to give it, let's give it a BTNHD. Awesome. Now you are able to do a SSH public key, or you can provide a password. I'm going to give it a password, and let's give it a nice strong. I'm going to give it a nice strong password, because I believe the requirements for Azure. Ooh, that's a good one. There we go. Oh, crap. All right, let me do that again. And I think I got it right. Awesome. Cool. All right, hopefully I remember the password. All right, cool. I remember the password. You're going to pick your subscription. So I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Put the subscription. With this, the requirements, I believe with the password requirements, you need at least 27 characters. Azure is really tight with their passwords. You can't use like a standard 7 to 8 character password. It's 27, about at least 27 characters long. Resource group. I'm using an existing one because I have one there. And we are just going to click OK. Zoom out for you guys. And this is where it gets expensive. I'm going to pick the cheapest virtual machine container because I'm not really doing like a heavy duty web server that needs like a big database. Never. I don't trust that stuff. Never. So we're going to pick actually A1 standard because it's 1 core, 1.75 gigs. This is a good one. So we're going to pick this guy right here. And we're going to hit select. And we need to configure it. So let's zoom in. Now with Azure, it's just a lot more that we have to do. So with the virtual NIC, I already have a virtual NIC already configured. Again, like I said, guys, there you go. You can always go back to the previous shows that we did with the server room. I've gone through all this stuff. So if you don't understand, go check out that video. The subnet, I'm going to leave it as the default, which is going to be 20.0.0. This is mostly a local IP address within your Azure environment. For the public IP, I'm going to create a new one because these public IPs are already assigned to virtual machines. So we're going to leave that as is. Plus, once I get the public IP address, I can actually go inside my noip.com and assign it because creating a record within like GoDaddy or Google domains or whatever you're using for your DNS stuff normally takes about an hour to propagate. So definitely, hopefully I could get that public IP address so I could drop it in there. For my firewall, I'm definitely going to pick this one. This one right here is pre-made for me to log into the terminal. So within Azure, you got to make sure your network security group is configured correctly to do SSH. Okay, because if not, that's the only way that you're able to get into your Azure Ubuntu server using PuTTY. I love using PuTTY to terminal into servers using SSH. So definitely make sure you configure your firewall correctly. No extensions, availability sets. I do have one right here, which is going to be that one. And let's go all the way down. I'm going to keep this at that. And by default, it's going to do that guy. That's excellent. This right here is for your diagnostics. Press OK. And everything passed. That is great. And we're going to click OK. So we're going to let that ride because right now it is creating itself. That's great. Because once it's done, it's done. All we need to do is actually terminal into our server and push out the commands, which the commands are part of the note. And let's go inside virtual machines. Let's see if, I don't see, it's creating itself, so it hasn't really started. So let's go back inside this guy because this guy is ready for us to configure. Sweet. So the first thing that you need to do is do a host name. So I'm going to click in here and erase that stuff. And let's give it a host name. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it as TSR, which is the server room, abbreviated 016. Cool. And now, again, we don't have a mouse within the Ubuntu server edition. So we need to hit the tab key to hit continue, to highlight continue, and then hit enter. And once that loads up, what we're going to do is set up a user password. Now, you have to understand, within the Linux platform, you have root, which is like the admin level within the Windows environment. That is the user account that has full access to your machine. I don't recommend using that account to log into anything. Like for us Windows admins, you don't log into your IIS server or your MDT server or your SQL server or your SCCM server using your AD admin account. Never. Don't do that. That's a no-no. You want to create a local account or create an Active Directory account that has no that has not have that doesn't have full admin rights for your entire domain, but at least has full admin rights for that server. Okay, it's a no. Okay, so from here we need to create an account. If we need to install something or install applications, because within the Linux platform you need to do is app-get command. You need to actually tell it that you need to like give it privileges to that. You know, you have to give that account that you logged in privileges. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean, because there's a specific command within the Linux world called sudo. I think that's how you say it, sudo, and then you write the command, and then from there you give in the password, and that will basically like increase your privileges to, or allow you to install that that application within your Linux platform. You never want to log into root. That's a no. So the full name user, we're going to be BTNHD. Again, you don't have a mouse, so we're going to hit tab to highlight the continue and hit enter. That is going to be set up a user and password. So the username for your account would be that. I want to go back. Okay, full name. So that's going to be the full name. Awesome. And that's going to be the username. So the full name and then the username, you probably have seen this within the Apple world. Yes, because, you know, Apple, you know, Mac OS is built on a Linux platform. So when you create a new Apple account within a MacBook or iMac or whatever, when you type in the full name, it gives you another option to do the username to shorten it up. So what we're going to do is hit tab to continue, hit enter. Awesome. Now choose the password. Make sure you remember the password. I'm going to pick something super simple. Make sure I type it in right. Awesome. You can even hit tab this, hit the space bar. Space bar will be your click. And that's the password that I'm going to assign it. It's nothing special. It's inside my lab. And we're going to hit continue on that. And then you have to re-enter your password. Make sure you're typing it the same way. Space bar on that. Tab to highlight the continue. And there you go. Now, one of the cool things about Ubuntu is, or any Linux operating system, even though you could do it within Windows operating system, within the Windows operating system, you're able to BitLock or encrypt your hard drive. When you are installing a Linux platform, they actually give you an option to encrypt your home directory, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to do that for now, so I'm going to hit enter. But for me, I think it's best practice if you are installing a Linux platform or a Linux operating system, to encrypt that home directory. Okay, especially if you're doing it on a laptop, because what happens if your laptop gets stolen or something happens to it? You don't want anyone to mess around with it. Now, right now, it's configure your clock. I'm going to hit yes on this. It is, see, right now it's saying that your time zone is America/New York. Again, if your machine is automatically hooked up to a network, it will pick that stuff up, which is awesome. And I'm going to hit enter. And the bad thing within Azure is that it doesn't give you all these options. All that stuff is just done behind the scenes. So I'm going to do a Control-Alt. And I am going to... We still have to continue the operating system. But let's refresh this. Let's go inside Azure. Ooh, it's running. Let's click on it. I just want to see if it's giving me a public IP address. It gave me a public IP address. Yay. So, okay, cool. What you doing? All right, so this is the IP address. So I'm going to do a Control-C. Awesome. And I'm going to do a modifier on that. And I'm just going to paste this. Again, it normally takes about an hour or so. So hopefully when we configure this server, this server should automatically be pointed to this. So when we type on that, it should take us to our web server. Cool. So that looks like it's still running. We're going to let it be for a while. Let's go back into our local environment. Awesome. So from here, partition. So you can either pick, you got 4 options. If you know what you're doing, you could do manual. If you don't know what you're doing, you could just do use entire disk and set up a LVM. Okay, it's a Linux volume. I think it's Linux volume management. I think that's what it's called. And then you could do you could also do use an entire disk and set up an encrypted LVM. But for now, I'm going to use the entire disk. Okay. We're going to hit enter on that. It found our hard drive. If you have multiple hard drives, it will see it. Let's hit enter. It's creating the partition and automatically creates 2 partitions for us. The first partition is our primary operating system. As you guys can see, the format or the file or the partition of the hard drive is not an NTFS. It creates a ext4, and it also creates a swap partition as well, which is cool. Automatically it picks no, but we are going to tab to yes. I hit tab once and it goes to yes because we want to confirm these changes. Hit enter and it's going to do all the magic. It's going to create our ext4 and our swap partition. Right now it is copying all the data to the disk, installing the operating system. Because I'm doing this all locally within a virtual machine, it should be like dot. Super quick, super awesome, super fancy. All right, so while that's installing, I'm gonna go inside the chat room. Hi, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? Jan, hello to all. I will definitely try this, mate. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. We have one person that likes Ubuntu. Ooh, that's a good one, too. Thank you, Harris. That's a good one. CentOS is another good one. Oh, I like CentOS. I've used that a couple of times. That's a good one. We got Tony, another one. I'm gonna mess the name on this one. I think it's Debian. I'll play with that one too. There's a lot of Linux operating systems that I played, and definitely gonna add CentOS into my list. So that's number 3 in my list that I like to use the most. Okay, we have one. We got another person using the same operating system. Wow, there's a lot of you guys using that same operating system, Debian. I think I'm probably killing the name. I do apologize. Oh, we have Arch Linux. Ooh, Arch Linux is one of those operating systems that you definitely know what the hell you're doing, and I give it to you, Chad Richards. I give it to you for doing Arch Linux. Wow, that is a beast that I have not tamed as of yet. I've tried to get my hands in to Arch Linux, and it's a beautiful operating system. I mean, it works extremely well, but you have to be really, really cocky, and you need to know what you're doing to, you know, have it up and running correctly. So big thumbs up if that's your favorite. Wow, we got a lot of you guys that like the same Linux platform. Oh, wow. Benjamin King said, I remember the days when you had to build the kernel and assign the drivers to the kernel by using the console. Wow, that's before my time, but I would definitely would have loved to see that. That sounds super exciting. And then we got King Crazy Cheese. Hi, will you do a video on Azure Windows 2012 R2 file server and allow local access, please? Ooh. Excuse me. That sounds like a good video. Definitely gonna write that within my notes. You guys know I'm always have my little notebook right here, so I'm definitely gonna write that down. King Crazy Cheese, because without you guys provide me feedback, and I kind of manipulate it in a way to create a show or a Monday through Thursday video for you guys. But I will definitely look into that. So let me write that down. Windows Server 2012 R2. You want a file share, and that file share, you want your local users within your office, I'm assuming, right, to have access to that file share, which is located in Azure, right? That's the scenario? All right, so I wrote that down because I definitely could take care of that and check it out. So, okay, so I'm gonna get the big me out of here. Bye-bye. And this is where we're at right now. If you have a proxy server within your environment, you can enter the HTTP proxy information. If not, you could actually just hit tab to select continue and just hit enter. and it's going to continue doing this thing because right now it's retrieving about 69 packages that it needs to install. And once that completes, we're somewhat almost done. Because I think we need a couple of other things. I think we're going to see the option to pick our roles and features. So while that's doing its thing, what we're going to do is something's happening. Okay. So I'm going to get out of that. I zoom out of it and boop. Okay, so within Azure, you have a nice little button right here that says connect. Let's click connect. And it says to connect to your Linux virtual machine using SSH, use the following SSH command, which is my IP address right here. And I'm going to copy that. Get out of that real quick. And the only way that you can log into it if you know the password. No, and it's not password 123 either. So I'm going to open up my putty. Beautiful. And I'm going to paste that address. It's going to be port 22 for now. And hit OK. Yes, I trust it. Why not? There it goes. So we need to enter that password. Let me see if I remember it. That'd be horrible if I can't remember the damn password. Oh, shoot. Wait. All right. Awesome. Cool. So we logged into this. So again, when you're creating an Ubuntu server within Azure, they don't really give you an option to do anything. So the first command that you need to do is the following. So this is where I'm going to have my cheat sheet. I love cheat sheets. So I don't like typing a lot. So this is my cheat sheet right here. I'm going to put this guy to the side. Again, you guys have a copy of this. So within Azure, you want to just run this command right here. There you go. So within Azure, you want to run this first command because you want to update whatever packages Azure gave you. So let's hit enter in that. Again, you have full admin rights to do whatever you need to do. Right now it is locating all packages that needs to be updated. And it's going to do its thing. So that's going to take a while. And actually it finished pretty quick. Holy moly. Cool. So let's go back out into our local server. Okay, cool. So within our local server, how you want to manage updates. So you can actually do install security updates automatically. You want to manage systems with landscape, which landscape is like WSUS. For our Windows admins out there, landscape is what that is. I'm going to do is install security updates automatically. Definitely want to do that, especially if you're doing or using a server edition, a Linux server edition that does not have a GUI to, you know, give you a nice little notification. So you definitely want to do that. All right, so we're gonna let that happen. All right, so King Crazy Cheese says basically you have a server in the cloud and people at home can have access to the share. Okay, I could look into it. Okay, so for our Ubuntu server, we have our software selection. This is where it's at. This is where we tell Ubuntu what services we want. By default, you have standard system utilities installed, but look at all the cool stuff that you can install within Ubuntu. Oh, what happened? Uh-oh. Oh, man, what happened? Let's see. Let's get out of that. It's all right. Let's see. Lost connection to my hypervisor. That's okay. That's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. Relog in and we're good to go. Cool, cool, cool. All right. It's a little hiccup, but that's okay. It's loading and we should be up. There we go. See, no problems, no problems. Awesome. Yeah, I know you're being managed by vCenter. Cool. So let's go log in here, go to console. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so now we're back in here. And let's do that. Awesome. Gorgeous. So like I said, look at all the options that you have within a Linux platform. Holy crap. You could create a DNS server, a LAMP, which again is Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, which is web services, a mail server. You can even create a SQL. This actually Progress SQL database. It's the Linux kind of version of MySQL. Samba file server, virtual machine host, open SSH server. Like, holy moly, look at all the options that you have. And I think I lost connection again. Let's do that. Losing connection. Yep, I'm losing connection to my hypervisor. All right. Losing connection on my hypervisor. That's not good. Let's log in again. Holy crap. Let's log in. Come on. Get in there. Get in there. There we go. All right, cool. Come on. I know. All right, so let's go inside. Again, like, Linux has so many options that you could do, and it's free. Holy moly, it's free. All right, so let me just get in here. Come on, load up. Oh my gosh. What's going on? Oh wow. It's like it's crazy. What is going on? There it goes. Jeez. All right, so let's just stop playing. Let's just select this. We're gonna hit the tab key to hit continue and let it continue installing that stuff. So right now it's going to install the Linux. It's going to install the Apache, the MySQL for us. Right now it is asking us to install, actually to enter the root password for our MySQL. So make sure that password is nice and strong. And for some reason, I am constantly losing a lot of, there it goes. Come on. What's going on? It's really slow. Really slow today. Yeah, I'm losing connection like crazy, man. Yeah, I just lost connection again. What the hell is going on? It's no bueno, no good. No good. We're gonna let's do this one more time. See what's going on. Jeez. I'm telling you. This is how it is every day for an IT person. If anything, we could just go inside Azure, because I know Azure is working, and just continue that way. Let me just try one more time. Yeah, I know. Virtual machine. Let's go here. Open. Okay. Get out of here with that. Okay. All right. It's going to continue complaining. Let's zoom in and get you out. All right, cool. So we need to assign a solid password for your root. And I can show you guys what I entered. Again, it's a lab. Hit tab to hit continue. You're going to re-enter that password for the root. Make sure you remember it because it's very important. That's the one, same one. Awesome. Hit tab to select continue, hit enter. So it's going to continue with the installation. Awesome. And just get out of that. Gorgeous. Good. All right, cool. Looks like it's stable now. Looks a little stable. All right, so let's go back into Azure because I'm doing the terminal. I don't want to lose the connection. And within Azure, again, we don't have Apache, we don't have anything installed, so we need to install Apache first. So it's real easy. I made it real easy for you guys to follow along. Just copy and paste the commands. And I think I lost connection. Yep, I think I lost connection, which is okay. So let's go inside dashboard. Select that. Excellent. Yep. Let me see if I remember the password. There you go. And enter. Awesome. Gorgeous. So we already did the updates within Azure. And the next thing that we need to do is not that. We need to push out the Apache packages, which is this guy. I love typing up my commands first because then I could just go in terminal and just right click and it pastes it for us, and we're going to hit enter. And it's going to say after the operation, blah, additional space would be used. Do you want to continue? Definitely hit that yes. You could do a lowercase yes. You could do a lowercase y or capital Y. It doesn't matter. Say enter. And it's going to start installing the Apache stuff for us. So that's cool. So let's go back into here. And this right now is installing the specific software. Now, one of the cool things about running your web server locally, if you're using Ubuntu server, is when you pick the LAMP services, it does everything for you. The only thing you need to do is just enter the MySQL root and installs all that stuff. And then you have to go in within the Linux platform and then do some edits and modifications for it to work properly. It looks like it's almost completed. And then if we look at our Azure right here, it looks like all the cool things are happening right here too. Look at that. I love seeing this. This is one of the things I love about Linux. I like to see all this stuff happen. So it looks like its process is completed within Azure. This is still going. So I'm going to copy that next command. And the next command is MySQL. So I'm going to zoom in. Actually, I'm going to do, let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. And I'm just going to do is just right click. It's going to paste it automatically and hit enter. It's going to ask you, do you want to continue? Lowercase y or uppercase Y, doesn't matter. Hit enter. And it's going to install the MySQL. Now, the best thing with the MySQL is this right here. This is the cool thing because it's going to prompt you. Boom. Within the terminal services, it's going to say, hey, you need to assign a password within your root. And again, assign a very strong password. The only thing within the Azure environment, it doesn't give you that nice little checkbox to show you the password. So you got to make sure you type it in correctly. And it's going to continue installing. So that's awesome. This right here looks like it's almost completing. So that's exciting. Awesome, awesome, cool. All right, we have about 10 strong individuals watching me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's already been 47 minutes already in, and we had a hiccup. I think it was because I'm running 2 networks within my machine. My machine that I'm showcasing, I have 2 NICs, and I think one of the NICs was acting up, so I just unplugged it, and now, we're all good. That's awesome. All right, so we have installed the Grub bootloader. This is a must. You must have the Grub bootloader because if not, it won't boot correctly. So you definitely want to hit enter on that part, and it's going to start installing the Grub bootloader within your partition. And once that's completed, I believe it's going to want to reboot. And that's a good thing because once we reboot, we could go inside and start configuring. So within Azure, because we're going to be doing 2 things at the same time. Within Azure, I'm going to do is a clear command. Clear command will just clear it out. And we install the MySQL, and we also gave it a root password. So the next thing that we need to do is install Apache. Install PHP, and we're installing PHP 5. So I'm gonna right click, copy, and within the terminal, just again, right click on it. It will automatically paste it for you and just hit enter. Bang. Awesome. And private is not available, but is referred to another. Oh, because this is the latest one. So package is not available but is referred to another package. This it may mean the package is missing, have been obsolete. Okay, so PHP 5 is not. Ooh, cool. All right, we check it out. We see. Oh, okay. PHP. Are we probably not going to use PHP? We're definitely not going to use PHP, but there is a PHP package. I think if I just do PHP, there it goes. Doesn't look like 16.04.2 doesn't have PHP 5 installed, which is okay. I know Linux Mint has it. So hit yes on that. It's going to install the PHP package. It's actually installing PHP.7. So we're going to zoom in on that. Look at that. It's actually installing 7.0. So that's the latest PHP that's installing. So that's a good thing. Just a little error within the modification. So what you could do is just take that 5 out of your notes right here. Just take the 5 out. Take that 5 out like that. Boom. Boom. Copy it, and it will automatically install the latest one, which the latest one right now is 7.0, which is awesome. That's cool. So let it install. We're going to go locally, and right now we're going to zoom into that. Zoom in. Awesome. Installation is completed. Awesome. We're done. We're done with this part. This is our local web server. Again, we're creating a local web server, which is pretty cool because you have an ISO, you have the control to do the installation, you have the power and the access to create the partitions that you want. It gives you a nice little option to pick what services you want for your installation. You have a lot of power when you're doing locally. If you're doing it in the cloud, you don't have too much power, especially with Azure. I'm going to hit enter. Let's click in here and hit enter to continue. And it's going to finalize the installation for us. And once it finalizes the installation, I think it's going to reboot for us. Yes, reboot. It's going to reboot. Awesome. Let's get out of that. Beautiful. Look at that. I love this stuff, man. I get excited when I see the green and okay. Come on. All right. So within here, so far we pushed out this. This is great. And the next thing that we need to do is we need to restart. You could restart your Apache. So we're going to restart our Apache because we got other things that we installed. So that's the command to restart. So I'm going to do another command of clear. And I'm going to zoom in for you guys right here in the terminal. And I'm going to paste that. So we're going to restart the Apache. We want to make sure that Apache is restarted. It was okay. You always want to see that okay green. If not, you see a red. Ugh, that's problems. So we're going to test it out. So we're going to test out in the cloud version. So let me zoom out of here. Let me minimize that. And again, let's see if this works. If not, it needs more time. We hit enter. Booyah! How awesome is that? Our Ubuntu 2 Apache 2 Ubuntu default page is up and running. How awesome is that? Again, you could purchase you could go to GoDaddy. Google Domains does this. You purchase a domain, and within your domain, you create an error record. Again, this is the IP address that I assigned it, which is the same IP address, the public IP address that I got within my Azure. But it looks like it's working. How sexy is that? Yes. Now, if you want to test out your PHP, you guys can actually go to btnhd.ddns. So I'm going to zoom in, right? btnhd.ddns.net. I want you guys to try it out. If it loads up, hey, this is no magic. This is not locally. This is what we're doing together. We're learning together. Okay? So the services that I'm using right now is called noip.com. This is not an advertisement for them. The only reason that I'm using it is because they give you 3 host names for free. That's awesome. The only problem is that you have to use one of their domains like ddns.net and other stuff. Okay. So let's zoom out. And also, I gave you guys a nice little command right here to test out your PHP. So if we go inside our terminal, zoom in on that, and let's just copy that, hit enter. If your PHP is working correctly, you're going to get the echo. It's going to say your PHP installation is working fine. How cool is that? All right. So it looks like we got it up and running. So that's awesome. But I want to show you guys a couple of things locally, because within the local environment, within your local server, because most likely you don't really have the money to purchase Azure or, you know, create a web server on the cloud. So you're probably doing it within your network. So let's zoom out of that, minimize that. And I got all my notes right here, what we're going to be doing. So within the server, again, you have a nice little login. So let me zoom in for you guys. We're going to click on this and we're going to log in. Again, you're going to log in with that username that we created during the installation, which is BTNHD for me. And then we're going to give it the password. Awesome. Good, good, good. Now, first thing that we need to do is the following. We need to configure our network. Okay, most likely your web server needs a static IP address, right? It needs a static IP address for it to work correctly. If not, it's going to be running on DHCP. Automatically, your server, your Linux server is running on DHCP, so it's grabbing an IP address somewhere. So what I'm going to do is assign it an IP address. So we're going to go inside. I got my notes right here. Same notes that you guys have. I have them right here. So let's bust this out real quick. Okay. So we're going to do a CD /exe. There you go. Network. Awesome. We're going to do ls. ls is the same thing as dir for us Windows people that dealt with command prompt. And it gives us a nice, it gives us a listing of all the directories. If you do a ls-l, it gives you more information like the permissions of the directory. Okay, but again, we're doing really basic stuff. Now, the file that we need to kind of manipulate for our IP address is actually called interfaces. Now, within the Linux platform, there's a lot of editors. I mean, there's a crap load of editors. The one that I like to use is VI. Now, if you do VI interfaces, and right, I think I spelled it right, hit enter, it opens up the file. But you got to make sure, you got to look at the very bottom right here. What it says, interfaces read only. So I can't make any modifications. I basically could just go in here and look at what's what. And if you look at the primary network interface, it says what? INET DHCP. It's set to DHCP. So it's grabbing an IP address from somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, within the VI, you want to do is a :Q, hit enter to exit out. And then we want to do is, I'm going to clear this out and we're going to go up. There we go. Beautiful. We're going to do is a sudo. And within the sudo VI interfaces and hit enter. Now it's gonna ask for a password. So we're gonna enter the password. Awesome. So now at the bottom of the file, it's not gonna say read only now. Now to enter any type of information, you're gonna hit the letter I. When you hit the letter I at the very bottom, it's going to say insert. So that's a good thing. So what we need to do is get to the bottom right here. And we need to just delete DHCP, and we need to do is static, because we need to do a static. Now, within the Linux world, you actually have to configure it. So we're going to do address. If I spell it right, address. It's going to be a 192.168. This is for my network, and I'm going to do 130. Hit enter, hit tab again. You need to give it a net mask. So it's going to be a 255.255.255.0. Hit tab again. And we need to give it a gateway, and the gateway is this. This is locally all within my network. Good. So once that's completed and you're done, we are going to do is hit the escape key. I think it's the escape key, right? Yeah, hit the escape key. Colon. If you hit the escape key, you're going to see the colon at the very bottom. W for write and Q to quit. Hit enter. Boom. So you see at the very bottom, it says interfaces written. So that means the information that we have entered is there. Beautiful. So For me, from my experience, you could actually run a command to do a reboot of the interface and then check if the IP address is there. Sometimes that doesn't work, so what you have to do is initiate a reboot. So just checking out my notes real quick. All right, yep. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is the following. We're going to do is a sudo if config the name of the network. So for me would be ENS 160 and just give it down. So right now it's the interface is down, and then if you do a sudo if config, actually I need to type it, just hit the tab, hit the arrow key up, and then just remove down and hit up. Type up, hit enter. So now it's up. So if you do for the Windows admin world, it would be IP config. For us Linux people would be if config, hit enter. And it's still reading an IP address that I do not know of. So what we are going to do is the following. Is it running? There we go. It's running a crazy. Interesting. All right, so we're gonna log in. There it goes, and let's do this again. Network VI interfaces. It's changed. All right, we are going to do. I need to get out of here. Q, awesome. What we're going to do is a sudo reboot. And we're going to give it the password. Let's reboot this machine. Remember, we gave it a 130. For some reason, he's giving me a weird IP address. So we're going to give it a 130. Awesome. I'm going to hit enter on that. If the up and down, if this command doesn't work for you, zoom out. If this command doesn't work for you, normally rebooting the server would definitely work out for you. All right, so it's rebooted. Awesome. So let's log back into our Linux machine. Awesome. Cool. And we're going to run the following if config, and there goes our IP address. Awesome. So if I do a ping Google, yeah, it's probably still propagating. All right, so I'm gonna give it some time for it to do. Normally, if I ping, let me see if I'm able to ping one of my servers. Normally, it takes a while for it to work. 192, 168, 100. See, I'm able to ping one of my machines within my network, so that's a good thing. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so far we did change our DHCP to a static IP address, because when you're dealing with a web server, it's best that you do a static IP address, because the IP address is the one that you're going to, well, within your network, you probably have a firewall, and your firewall has public IP addresses, right? Or you have a DMZ, and that DMZ talks to the outside world. So it really depends on you. What we're going to do is we're going to get into CDX, because we need to get to resolve. So that means we need to do the DNS, our DNS stuff. So we are going to do is, let me zoom in for you guys. Zoom in, zoom. And the following command is we need to actually, get out of here. No, there you go. Got to click inside the damn server. Let's get inside CDXE. I'm going to do an LS. And the one that we need to get into is actually the resolve.config file. So there's that guy right there highlighted in blue. So we're going to do a sudo. God damn it. Hit no. Click. There you go. We're going to do a sudo vi resolve.config. Hit enter. And we're going to give it the password. Beautiful. Now, I don't have any namespaces. Namespaces are basically your DNS. So I have no DNS here. So I'm going to zoom out. And from here, I'm going to click inside the server. I'm going to do is to insert something. I'm going to go all the way to the end. And I'm going to hit enter. And the command is name server space, and it's going to be your DNS. So my DNS right now is this guy. Hit enter. And we're going to add our second DNS. So it'd be name server one. Actually, I'm going to do 8888, which is Google's. I'm going to hit escape :WQ. So again, :WQ, the WB to write the file and Q to quit. And we're going to hit enter. Awesome. Good. Now, within a server, you got to make sure that the date is correct. When you're dealing with Linux, you have to make sure that the date is correct, because a lot of stuff doesn't work correctly if the date is wrong. So like again, with the notes, I left you the date command. Like all you have to do is just type in date. So let's copy that. And no, I can't actually paste. I forgot. Within a virtual machine, you can't paste because of VM tools. So hit enter, and it gives you the date. Okay. If you need to change the time anyway, it's pretty easy. You just need to do the following. So you do is let me see if I could zoom in for you guys. Get out of that. Zoom in. Great. So if you need to change the date, you just do a sudo. Got to make sure I click inside the virtual machine. That's a bad habit of mine. Sudo and date -s and the time. So right now, let's what time is it? Wow, it's 4:06 already. So let's say it's 04:07, and then you hit enter, and it changes it 04:07. Cool. So that's how you change the date. Now, another thing that you need to do locally is you need to make your MySQL secure. You definitely need to lock it down. You can actually do it with Azure as well, but we're going to do it here first. So the command that I'm going to clear this out, and then we're going to go up. There you go. And the command that we're going to type in is sudo MySQL _secure _installation. Hit enter. You're going to give the root password. Remember, it's the password that we gave it when we was installing. Hit enter. Awesome. So it's going to say validate the password plugin can be used to test passwords. It's going to give you a series of questions. Would you like to set up a validate password plugin? Yes, you definitely want to do that. Now, you have three options. You have low, medium, strong. Strong is the following. It's going to have at least greater than or equal to 8 characters. It's going to be numeric, mixed characters, which are going to be uppercase, lowercase, special characters, and dictionary. So you want your SQL database to have a strong password. So we are going to pick 2. Hit enter. And the estimate strength of the password is 100. Change the password of the root. I'm not going to change it now. I'm happy right now. Excuse me. Let me drink a little water. So I'm happy right now with the password because then this is a lab, but within a production environment, you definitely want to change the password and have something strong, really strong. And if you have a password management within your infrastructure, make sure you enter inside your password manager because you don't want to lose it. Hit enter on that, and you got more questions because it's like a series of questions that you need to answer to keep your MySQL database secure. This is a must if you want to run Linux as a web server. Okay, so the other one is remove anonymous users. This is a definite. I definitely want to remove anonymous users. So the installation has anonymous users, allowing anyone to log into your MySQL without having to have a user account created. That's not a good thing. Hell no, this is not a good thing. So that's definitely why. The next thing is normally root should only be allowed to connect from local hosts. This ensures that someone cannot guess at the root password for the network. Disallow root login remotely. I would definitely say yes. You don't want root to have access remotely. That basically means someone from outside your network will have access or has the IP address to your MySQL, and they're able to remotely get into your MySQL from their home to your network to access your SQL database. You don't want that. What you want to do is have your IT admins or your people from your IT group to remote into their machine, right? Putty using Putty or whatever terminal services that they would like to use to remote into their MySQL. Okay, don't no. This is a big no. So we're gonna hit no, N for no. Hit enter, and then the next one is you have a test database. This is really up to you. For production, I would definitely remove it. So I'm gonna hit yes for that. So hit enter. Test database is just a database for you to play around with and make modifications. This is a big no-no. You don't really want that within a production. So I'm just gonna remove it. Just gonna drop it. And right now it's gonna say reloading the privileges tables will ensure that all changes are made. Now, if you don't do this, all the changes that you made right now, all the questions that you answered is gonna go away. So I definitely want to hit yes for that. And we're all done. So our SQL database is nice and secured, even though we didn't change the password, but make sure you do change the password. All right, so I'm reading some of the comments. We have Tony says, laugh out loud, make sure you focus. I know, right? Focus. Oh, it's crazy. All right, so far we install Linux. Great. We got Apache. We definitely got Apache up and running because that automatically gets configured and restarts for us. But we're going to check that up right now. So what you want to do is, rather than restarting Apache, you want to add it inside your defaults within like the restart file. I can't really explain it. I don't know how to explain it correctly because I just know how to just do it. So within this command right here, updates, sudo updates -rc.d Apache. This would add Apache 2 to the default. That basically means if your server reboots because of updates or something, Apache will automatically restart itself once the restart of your machine is completed, right? We've seen this. This is like IIS. You know how IIS, when your IIS server restarts, what services automatically gets restarted? IIS. For Linux, you actually have to tell it that you want that particular service to be part of the default stuff or the default services to restart once the machine restarts itself. So that is the command that you want. We're going to hit enter. If everything goes well, you should not see anything. That is a good thing. All right. If you have any problems, you probably get some errors. If you don't have any problems, most likely it's going to show you your command prompt. Good. So next thing we need to do, let's log in. Let's go within XE. We're going to do is we need to do ls, and within ls, again, because it gets cut off, we need to locate the apache2.cuf file and a configuration. Now we can't find it because everything gets cut off, so let's do is a sudo find command /-name, and the name that we're locating is the following. So it would be that. Hit enter. If everything goes well, it should give us a path of where it's located. So that's the path of where that particular file is located. How awesome is that? So what we're going to do is a cd, and we need to get into Apache 2. Awesome. Oops, spelled it wrong. cd Apache Apache 2. Ah, come on. I'm spelling it right? All right, cd Apache 2. There we go. Let's clear that out. Again, the commands are within the notes, so they're there. Do ls. Again, ls is the same stuff as dir for the command world, and the file that we need to look into is the apache2.cuf, which is config file. So you could do a vi, or you could do is cat, and we're gonna call the apache2.cuf. We're gonna pipe it with a less command. So what this is going to happen is it's going to allow us to view the file, but cut it to the point that we are able to see everything. Now, a couple of things within the configuration file within Apache 2, if we go all in the bottom, let's go all the way to the bottom, because there's a couple of sections that are very important for us web admins. So automatically, if you're a web admin and you're dealing with Linux platforms, this section right here is very, very important, because this is where you grant access to specific locations. And one location is the following right here, the one that I'm like moving my mouse, the directory var www. That is the location of where you will be dropping your websites. Okay, by default, that's where that index.html file is located. Okay, there's other things you could probably change the requirements, but by default, it's required or granted. It's, if you're really tight within your network, you probably change it. But again, this show is all about the basics, very basic. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna hit Q to get out of it. Awesome. So that's a very important file to know, because the reason why we need to know that, because we're going to do is a cd var www. Awesome. And we're going to clear that up. We go all the way to the top. How beautiful is that? I'm going to do a ls, and within the ls again, you're going to see that one HTML file. Okay, so I'm actually looking at my notes because I'm old. I'm an old man. I forget things. You know, I'm always going to forget things. That's the reason why I give you guys notes. Make life easy. So when it's highlighted blue, that's considered a folder. Over here, everything is like going crazy. All right. Okay. See, I'm telling you, everything is going crazy. So when it's highlighted in blue, that means there's a folder. If it's in white, I think there's a file. If it's green, it's like a exe file. It's like an exe file. So we're going to do a cd HTML. We're going to get into that, and we're going to do a ls. And again, we got the index.html. Now, we're going to do an if config, because remember, it is that IP address. And I'm going to get out of this. And I have a Windows machine right here, and we're going to open the console up. And I spelled Windows wrong. I called it Windows, like the Wii. All right, so let's zoom out real .quick. I'm gonna log into this machine, and remember that IP address, which was 192.168.1.130, because I'm going to log into this Windows machine, or this Windows virtual machine. I'm going to open up a browser. Let's open up this guy. Open up. Come on. There you go. Sexy thing. And we're just going to type in 192.168.1 and 130, right? And we hit enter. Bam! Yes! Hallelujah. How awesome is that? Now, if within Azure, probably, did this cancel out? No. Within Azure, it is the same approach. So if you go cd var, what is it? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, var /ww, hit enter to ls. That's, I'm going to zoom in for you guys. So this is Azure right now. I'm terminal in within Azure. So it's the same concept, same approach. And there goes the folder of HTML. You get in ls. That's the index file. Bam. Cool as that. And if you want to get fancy, you can actually do, let me see. Let's see if you want to get a little fancy within the Azure world. Let's zoom out of that. Let's look at our notes. Where's our notes? There goes our notes. If we want to get a little fancy, if we get into the network, let's get into the network real quick. So within the network, so let's get into this. Let's zoom in, and we're going to paste that. Excellent. Let's do ls. It goes our interface. So let's do is a VI. Let's do VI interfaces. And I want to see how that's configured. Definitely would like to see how that's configured. So look at that. So this is how Azure configures their interfaces. But again, if you have a public IP address, you could probably change it. You might not have to mess around with the interface file within Azure because it's the way that they do the IP address is a little different. They use the Azure interface to do all that stuff. So I don't really think you need to touch it at all. But if you're dealing with your Linux web server in-house within your LAN or WAN or DMZ, you have to configure that interface file, okay? So let me zoom out of there. I'm going to do is a :Q. Awesome. Let's go back into this guy. And within, let me zoom in. Let's zoom in. Let's do something real quick. So within here, I'm going to do is a sudo, right? This is something extra. mv index HTML. And we're going to rename it to index.html.old. Hit enter. Awesome. So I'm going to do ls. And as you guys can see, I put it old. So it's old. And I'm going to do is sudo. And we're going to do is vi index.html. And hit enter. Now, if the file is not there, it's automatically going to create it for us. We're going to hit enter. And that's it. So I'm going to get a little bit of technical before I end the show because I love getting technical. So I just hit the I command. And once you hit the I command, you hit the... Hit I. Wait, let me get in there. There, go, insert. And let's do a little bit of HTML. So we're going to do HTML, title. Oh, wait. Head. I think is that. I haven't done HTML like this for a while. BTNHD. Let's close that title up. I'm surprised that I still remember this stuff. Hit enter. We're going to close the head. So we're doing something really quick, really simple. I can actually do it within Azure too. And we're going to open up a body. We're going to do is a B for bold. We're going to do an H1. The server room. If I can spell right. Episode 16. We're going to do is close at H1. H1 is like the size of the fonts. And we're going to close our bold. We're going to close our body. It's really basic today, really basic. And then we are going to close our HTML. Beautiful. And I'm going to hit the escape key. Because you got to, when you press I, there it goes. We're going to press escape. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. If I hit escape, it disappears. And then it allows me to hit the colon. WQ, again, WQ allows you to write the file and then quit at the same time. Excellent. So, we are going to test. Let's test it out and see what happens. Let's get out of here. Let's zoom out. And I'm going to do a restart. Let's do a restart. So, we're going to use this command right here. So, let's restart our server. So, again, it'll be sudo XCINT. If you guys can't see, let me zoom in for you guys. So all I'm doing is restarting the Apache server, and almost my water almost fell. You know how horrible is that? You got water around your electronics and all of a sudden it falls. Worst case scenario for me right now. .d, we're going to do Apache 2 for space restart. Hit enter. It's restarting. It's okay. Great. We're going to zoom out. We're going to go inside our Windows machine and let's do a restart. Oh, what? Awesome. All right. So a couple of things that I didn't write on the notes, and there's a way to check the status of your, let me see, Control 4. So to check the status of the Ubuntu, you can actually do is a sudo /etc, right? init.d Apache 2 space status. Hit enter. It gives you a nice little status of what's going on. Look, active, okay. When you see that green within the Linux environment, that is always a good thing. If you see something red, holy crap, just run, go home, clock out, go home. But it looks like everything is running. Also with Apache, there's logs as well. If you go to CD, oh crap, again, I forgot. Click in here. If you go to CD var logs, hit enter. Oh, wait, sorry. Log, hit enter. Okay, and I'm going to do ls. Within here, there's Apache 2 folder. So if you do a cd Apache 2 and go to ls, this gives you logs of the access error and the vhost access as well. So if you're having any issues within your web server and you need to figure out what's what, just go inside the var log Apache folder, and that's where the access error logs are actually logged into. I don't think I have any problems. So if I do a vi access, and the only way that you could get this stuff done fast, if you do vi and just type in the first couple of letters of the file, just hit the tab key and it will pop up for you. You don't have to type it. Hit enter. And I don't really have much, but it tells me who logged into it and what time and what operating system and all that good stuff. So the access stuff is awesome. Cool. So hit enter. There it goes. Clear that out. Awesome. Awesome. So, and that's it, guys. That is how to deploy a Linux web server for us Windows admin, especially for those Windows admin that have never touched Linux before, and all of a sudden you have a client that wants you to use Linux and they want to use a web service. Linux is the way to go, man. It's free. Why not use it? The only problem is you're going to be using command prompts. You could actually have the desktop version of a Linux platform and install all the services, but to me, that's cheating. Don't cheat like that. No. Bad. If you're going to install Linux with the terminal. Use the damn terminal. Learn those commands. Me, I like to type my stuff up, copy and paste it into the terminal because it makes my life easy, because I forget a lot. Trust me, I forget a lot all the time. I'm going to go inside the chat room, chat with you guys for a few, and we're going to end it. We're just going to end it right there. Let's see what you guys think. Chris Richard, well, Chris, Chad Richards say it works well. Awesome. Arch Linux is a great, like I said, is a great Linux operating system. You got to really know what you're doing to make it work for you, and that's awesome that it works well for you. All right, guys, so I'm gonna end it in, let's say, 1 more minute. If you have any questions, leave them at the chat. All right, leave them at the chat. The notes are there for you guys. The links of everything is within the description. Make sure you guys grab the notes. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm going to leave the stream on for 1 more minute. I'm going to end it at 4:29 or 4:30. Let's give it 4:30. If you guys have any more questions, leave them at the live chat. If you have any requests, make sure you come back once the video is finalized within the channel. Leave a comment, because that comment will email me. I will get the email. I will look into it. I already have one request right here. I'm looking at my notes, and actually, this is for Azure. I have one individual that wants me to touch base on creating a Azure Windows Server 2012 R2 file share and having home users or other users like his Office users to have access to that file share. So I kind of find that interesting. That's pretty cool. That's probably something that I would love to definitely implement within my environment because it works great for consultants or individuals that are working from home. So again, we got 1 more minute and we're going to end it. And again, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Damn, we went over that hour timeline, which is okay, but we're learning. Make sure you guys download the notes. Please, I don't want to beg, but make sure to go to my twitch.tv account. I will be live streaming tonight. If you guys have any questions, any technical stuff, you could just chat with me, tech talk, whatever. I'll be down over there showing some love to that channel. Again, thank you guys for thank you so much for everything, guys, and be safe, and I catch you guys on the next server room show. Peace. Wish I had like a outro kind of music, like doop 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 doop. But I don't think we're there yet, right? So again, guys, thank you so much, and God bless, and I see you guys next time. Peace. All right, how you end this? I think I hit the stop button to end it. Yep. Yeah. All right. Bye.